Now we're in the big leagues. Gonna get my turn at bat. As long as we live. It's you and me, baby. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And we're moving on up,
wait.
to the east.
Wait.
What? This is Comics Covered. What are you talking about, Doug?
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing the Comics Covered theme song that we wrote.
Our patented theme song that we do every week.
Yeah, with the music that goes with it.
It's the second theme song, the theme song that plays after the theme song that plays at the beginning.
Exactly. It's like kind of a Too Many Cooks thing, but not really.
It's pretty revolutionary, I feel like, what we've done here. Anyways.
Or evolutionary.
Like those mutants.
Yes.
I made a comics reference. I made a reference to the thing we talk about.
You
Jack,
did.
what are we doing here?
Also, this is Comics Covered, Doug. God, we're moving on up. For the week of January 31st, 2018, the last day of the first month of the last year of your life, Jerry. Sorry.
It's not the first, but it's not, it is for January 31st. However, today is February 1st. We are recording a little bit early this week. And you confused me because you did say the date. You did. That is my fault for misunderstanding. But you said then I was like, this is not. Anyways, continue.
Sounds pretty easy to confuse you there.
You'd think.
Anyways, here on Comics Covered, we talk about the comic books and the world around them, the comics industry, comics movies, games, TV. We'll have a few spoilers in a section, which we will warn you about. We swear. And, well, we do that too. And I'm Jack. I'm a recent convert to comics, and I'm here with my co-host Doug, and he knows something I don't know about comics.
Yes, I do know a thing about comics. I am Doug, and
are you sure?
I mean, we are living in a simulation.
We are.
And the only way that we'll know.
That's a callback.
Did we talk about that before? Of course we did.
You said at some point. We're all living in a simulation. Maybe that was on episode 0.
I mean, it's not quite so much a callback as it is just referencing the truth of our lives and the reality of it.
Thematic storytelling, yes. I think.
Just as real as your eye is this week's mystery character, which is Matter Eater Lad.
I don't believe you.
That it's the character or that he's real?
That it's the character, because I saw this earlier and you put a bad decision on there at first.
Yeah, and then I fixed it because I realized you read that book.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
I wasn't sure if you would have read it yet, but
okay, just so everyone knows, Doug put The Top on there. We read the Flash Annual, so I literally was introduced to The Top this week.
I also was not 100% sure that you had actually picked up that book until we talked about it earlier. So I thought I was going to be teaching you a thing that was timely and relevant, and it turns out that I am, in fact, a stupid doo-doo head. So
a flaming downfall, as I would call it. In any case, what is the name?
The name is written on the rundown right here, typed out for you to see.
I don't have it on my screen yet. It's I have the rundown up, but I need to zoom over.
The name again is Matter Eater Lad.
Okay, I'm looking at it now. So he eats matter. It's a lad that eats matter. Okay, let's go. Let's see here. It's Dark Horse.
It is not. Do you want a second shot, or do you want me to
Image?
No, it is DC. It's big too. You were trying to go for weird side publishers, and it is not. It is not.
I mean, if there's one that's going to be called, I mean, I guess DC is off the wall. They had.
I mean, they're all both the big two are very off the wall. This is a wonderful character.
Matter Eater Lad. One second. Here we go. So it's a lad. It's a dude. I guess he's a boy that is just really, really hungry all the time, and I mean, he just eats all matter, no matter what it is. He eats like paper, cardboard, concrete, all these things. And maybe he's like a beast, like a goat in that sense. He can digest all these things. That's kind of my guess for what Buona Beast was when I was guessing that. So let's hear it. Let's hear Matter Eater Lad.
All right, Jack. This might be a momentous occasion right now. But did you in fact look up Matter Eater Lad before?
No, I thought you were going to put the top.
All right. You did in fact accurately, completely describe Matter Eater Lad and his powers.
Is that really it?
That's him. Matter Eater Lad can eat and digest anything with no consequences.
Yes. And see, you didn't want me to guess the backstories of these people.
I mean, granted, the name kind of says it all.
Hey, I'll take whatever win I can get. Go ahead. Well, how does this person come to be? This lad?
I'm not actually sure about his origin, but let me look at my little reference here. But he's from an alien planet. He's from an alien planet. He's from an alien. An alien gave birth to him, which is technically true. They are just his alien race is able to eat all matter. That's it.
They're like goats.
He's just an alien. They're like goats. If there are lots and lots of illustrations of goats just taking a bite out of like a cave wall or like a wrought iron fence.
Why iron?
I don't know. Because it's something you wouldn't normally eat. I wouldn't.
Maybe not you.
Here's one of him. He's eating. There's that's funny. He's got like a big old like submarine sandwich bread, but inside of it, it's not meat or cheese or like spinach or whatever. It's wrenches and hammers.
You're looking at an actual picture?
Yeah, he's got a golf club sticking out of his mouth.
Oh my gosh! Is this on the Comic Vine page that you?
This is on the images tab of his Comic Vine page. He's in a prison cell in this one, and he has bitten the bars off and is about to escape.
Oh my god! They really took this like literally.
I mean, you could more say that his name is taken very literally.
Can he do anything else? Is he a villain?
He's a member of the Legion of Superheroes, which is a teen group of future heroes from the future. In space.
That was redundant, I think.
What I said was redundant. I agree. Jack, Matter Eater Lad is one of the pinnacles of comic book storytelling. How was your week?
Jesus. Okay, yeah, no, wow, Matter Eater Lad. Okay, I wanna read these. Like, I wanna read all these characters. Comet the Super Horse, I really want to read that. Action Comics 301, I think is what you told me.
I don't remember what the number was, but...
Okay, in any case, my week, it was good. I finished Punisher.
The television show.
Yeah, I finished the television show. I haven't read a comic yet. I would love to read a comic with him in it. Mm-hmm. But, I finished Punisher, and I gotta say, I think you stopped watching at around kind of the lull of this season.
Okay.
And I think it really picks up nicely near the end because they have a lot of really cool stuff happening. They do kind of tinker with a specifically formatted show that doesn't really work, but a lot of exciting things are going on during that episode. So it makes up for it, but they kind of experiment with something and it doesn't really work, but then they don't do that again. So it's pretty good.
Okay.
But in any case, and also just so everyone knows, we're recording this on a Thursday, the day after NCBD hashtag.
You don't put the hashtag at the end. See, that doesn't work. People can't search for it if you go NCBD hashtag.
I assume that no one's as dumb as me to put a hashtag at the end.
But you did it. So,
hardy har. In any case, because I'm going out of town this weekend to Colorado to go skiing, so I'm really excited.
One could call you a snow skier lad. Matter skier lad.
Matter. Oh, that would actually be good. Like, you can ski on all matter.
On all matter. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be snow. It could.
That is kind of Silver Surfers, though. He can kind of snowboard on top of all matter.
Well, he just kind of floats. The surfboard just kind of floats. So is he? I mean, he can surf on. All right, I'll be quiet.
How's your week, Doug?
Jack, I can't listen to Lil Jon anymore.
I saw that. You literally wrote that and said it word for word. I don't understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Bake a Pretty Cake thing with Lil Jon in it?
What does that mean?
Oh my God. I have to... there's this like children's show where there's a part where the little girl with pink hair is going, I can bake a pretty cake. Have you ever tried to bake a pretty cake? And someone cut together Lil Jon songs into that video and thing. And it features such lines as, back that pussy, she a motherfucker. So, she's like, well, I'll show it to you after this video, and you can recap on the next episode.
I work for an NBA team and
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I work for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thank you for advertising that.
It's a forward.
My name is Carl Anthony Towns, and I do put the basket through the hoop. The basket? Oh God, I've been working a lot this week because
on your lingo.
Working a lot this week because, as everyone might know, the Super Bowl is in town in Minnesota this weekend, and so they're kind of pulling out the stops with the Wolves games to.
Oh, they're thinking they're going to have other people seeing games, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of people in town, so these are pretty high attendance games, and so we got big half times, and tonight's that I just got home from a little bit ago was a Lil Jon. And the small Jonathan, his songs are very repetitive, and I have spent all of the past week listening to 2-second segments of Lil Jon on repeat for 8 or more hours a day for about 7 days. So
Lil Jon was there tonight?
Lil Jon was there.
Wow.
And he did do the hip hop at the basketball. So that I can't do it anymore, though. I got through it, and I can't listen to him anymore.
Okay.
After all, well, as listeners might know, I talk about Lil Jon all the time because he is my favorite musician in the world, and I can't listen to him anymore because I have listened to too much of it. So.
Okay, that's too bad. I did hear that Lil Jon actually took Kendrick Lamar's place, and he's actually doing all the music for Black Panther, and they will be performing them in the movie in character.
Oh no! I'll have to listen to Lil Jon again.
Yeah,
or I can't see Black Panther. So that's actually choice. Probably the solution is that I'm dovetailing right into news here.
DuckTales.
That is a nice transition there that I botched.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Transition.
Wait. You can't just say transition.
Yeah, that was a good transition.
But wait, was that the transition? All right, we need to move on.
Yeah, no, we just transitized.
We transited. Right? We've transported ourselves into news.
So we put the music there. Yeah,
I think I put the music there. I might have put it both places. We'll see how I feel later when I'm editing this.
That'll be fun. Okay, in any case, big thing dropped. I'm hosting it. Be quiet, Doug. You're eating up the runtime again.
I spiked you up a perfect transition here, and you're just going to go into what's written.
I said the transition. In any case, Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer.
Again, you're still ignoring it.
Ignoring what?
The transition into the news story. Never mind. Fine, do the Ant-Man thing.
From Black Panther, because we were talking about that?
Fine. Yeah. All right. We'll talk about Ant-Man. The Ant-Man trailer came out.
It did. I thought okay, in any case, Doug is all over the place. He's gone nuts. He's the crazy one now. I'm the sane one. In any case, Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer, it dropped. Like someone had it in their hands and it dropped and went on the floor, and it was pretty cool. I'm really excited for it.
Someone at Marvel Studios ran into a crowded room and they screamed, "Watch this!" and they smashed it on the ground. And everyone had to watch it there.
Yep.
On the floor.
But I thought it was cool. It seems like it's specifically set like after Civil War, because there were no like Infinity War things at all. I'm sure their fallout from Infinity War will be a post-credits scene. And this is just kind of playing within the, between Civil War and Infinity War sort of area and that sliding time scale, right? So, what do you think? Is there anything in there that I would not know? Because I know you told me about ghosts or something, right?
Yep,
and that's
Ghost.
A girl, but it's usually a dude.
Well, it's a character from the comics named Ghost, I believe. Got a white costume, some like sniper-y looking stuff on her face now. Originally, yes, a man in the comics, played by a woman in this new movie. Like a anti-industrialist or anti-capitalist, I guess. Kind of stealth hacking spooky character.
Are they sort of like we want the free world sort of thing kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like an anarchy thing, either that or it's like about like having a grudge against like capitalist icons. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a strictly socialist thing or if it's just like they don't like business people. I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
But it looks like this villain Ghost is coming after Hank Pym and his folks, and they shrink down, and they did it again. I was surprised that they made the bold move of making them shrink again. I thought they were gonna make them
what?
Get like, I thought they were gonna make them like flat this time or something.
Are you trying to make jokes?
Trying.
Yeah.
This
trailer
had
a long day at work.
Mm-hmm. This trailer looks great. I'm very excited for this. It looks very fun.
Yeah. It looks like they're just laying into kind of the cool like comedy aspects that really made the first one really fun and awesome, and like, I don't know. And I think specifically hearing about what that character Ghost is like, that could be a really cool villain to have in the future too, because that is like, you know, easy to apply to many different characters in the Marvel universe, especially Tony Stark.
Yeah. Apparently he has a huge grudge against Tony Stark in the comics.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. I'll take it. So now we'll expertly transition into our Black Panther thing again.
Hold on just a second. I can't see Black Panther anymore because apparently Lil Jon's doing all the music, and I don't want to listen to Lil Jon anymore.
But Doug, you'd be pretty alone in that venture because Black Panther pre-order ticket sales are a superhero record. It's selling more before it actually hits theaters than any other superhero movie in history.
That's insane.
Lil Jon is doing something.
Yeah, it's all Lil Jon. But yeah, that's insane. Like, I mean, like, I'm excited for this movie, but like, I like the huge response to this movie even before it's come out, like, is crazy, like unexpected.
Yes, it seems like it'd be more of an Ant-Man sort of feel, like level of fame as the hero. You know what I mean?
It's the character historically is about like that kind of level of popularity in comics. Like, it's a character that like everyone kind of who is really into comics, they like Black Panther usually, but like it's not a character who like sells tons of books or anything, you know? Like, he gets a mini-series every once in a while. Occasionally he get an ongoing that'll last for a year or two, although his current ongoing has been going on for a while. But
but I mean, honestly, I got my tickets today. I think a lot of it is, first off, Marvel movies are going to start having pre-ticket sales because everyone like knows that everyone wants to see every single one. So I think the pre-ticket sales are going to be pre-ticket. I keep saying that. Pre-release sales are going to get higher and higher for these movies. I don't think this is going to stay very long. I think Infinity War is going to be much higher, in fact. But in any case, I think another reason is because apparently, you know, I didn't see Creed, but apparently this director did really well with that movie, considering, you know.
I heard that movie is great.
I heard it. I haven't seen it, but I would love, like, it sounds like a movie that I wouldn't be interested in, but since it's gotten good reviews, like, why wouldn't I want to see it? I think another thing is that this movie is different. You know, it's the opposite of whitewashed Hollywood. So I think people are looking at that difference as something, okay, we should look at this and be awesome. And since it's filled with an amazing cast as well, like, it's just really cool that they're all, that I don't know. It looks like a cool ensemble, and I'm really, really excited. But I agree. Like, it's pretty surprising that it's just this huge.
Yeah, I think they're definitely like a big part of this is that they're tapping into kind of I don't want to say like a demographic, because I don't think that this is like a specific group of people. I feel like this is like highly anticipated everywhere, but I think it's just because like they're tapping into like a voice and like a view on this genre that like hasn't been explored yet, at least in their stuff, that I think is really exciting. I haven't been super blown away by the trailers as of yet, but like I still really like conceptually a lot of what this movie is, and the early buzz has been really positive. So
like weirdly positive.
Yeah,
people are saying like it has very James Bond feels. Which is strange to me.
That could be, yeah, that could be cool. I mean, he's a, like a, I guess James Bond isn't himself a monarch, but he is in service of a monarchy, and he's, got lots of resources and is working for a government in a way that one could compare to Black Panther in some ways. And that's cool.
No, like I have only seen that first trailer that they released, because I'm done looking at every single trailer for movies. It's just ridiculous nowadays. Yeah. But so I've only seen that first one, and honestly, it's like okay, but I mean, it's not that it's bad or anything. It's just like the trailer doesn't show you a lot, which is good. It just kind of shows it's a visual film reel, which is why I liked the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer too. It just shows you what kind of visuals you're going to see, with some kind of feeling of sound, with a few tidbits of dialogue, and it's just they're doing pretty good on their trailer game. But some people, Doug, aren't too happy with Black Panther.
Boy.
But not specifically Black Panther, but there are some people apparently that are hardcore DC extended universe fans that are doing everything they can to make sure Marvel does not beat them in every regard. So, basically what I'm saying, brief mention, because this is just really weird and pretty dumb. There's a group of people, a large fan base that are specifically behind DC movies, and they are
meaning
hatched a plan.
They're fans of DC movies. They're not.
They're fans of DC movies. Yes. They've hatched a plan which apparently worked somehow. It was in the thing. It works for a previous movie, so they're trying to get thousands of people together to basically downvote the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes so that it looks bad, and so that people see that it's a bad score to hopefully make it do worse. But like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, come on.
I don't think the article that you've linked to isn't saying that this worked on a previous movie. It's that this group, whatever this, I mean, loosely affiliated internet group, it sounds like, but like, they have this belief that Rotten Tomatoes as an organization has rigged their review system. They specifically call out that they rigged the reviews on Star Wars The Last Jedi, and they call out that they falsified bad press for all the DC movies. And the thing that really gets me is that and I don't think it was in this article you linked to, but I saw another quote that like claimed that like Rotten
Disney?
Tomatoes is like in cahoots with Marvel to give their movies good reviews and DC movies bad reviews, which is the opposite of true, because Warner Brothers owns part of Rotten Tomatoes. So that's nonsense. There was actually a little bit of controversy around the delay of the Justice League review scores, because people were trying to connect some dots on like, oh, well, they are delaying putting up the review scores for
so that they keep
for Justice League because they have a stake in this site and they have some sway into keeping them from putting up the bad reviews, basically.
I remember that they were making it like
I don't.
They're
think
making like a thing like, oh, we're gonna drop we're going to drop the review score, Rotten Tomatoes score in like this many days, but they've never done that for any other movie.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that like, I don't even think that holds water because it was like a new like feature that they were rolling out and I think have done for other movies now as well. Like, I don't think that it was just a one-off thing. It was like a pilot thing for a new feature, like a countdown feature thing that they're doing of some kind, where they like live reveal the score or something. I don't remember what exactly it was, but like, just I kind of wanted to talk about this just because I'm so fucking tired of like fan groups of movies, like doing petitions and doing stupid organized stuff like this to like, because they're bitter about things in movies. Who cares? If you don't like a movie or you don't like how a movie you like has been treated,
don't pay to see it.
Just don't pay attention. Like, if you like a thing, you can like the thing. No one's telling you can't like the thing if other people don't like it. I'm very tired of it. I've seen in the last month, the last like couple months, specifically since like Last Jedi came out, and since Justice League, those two movies, I've seen so many news stories about fan petitions and shit like this. Like, fans were petitioning for Rian Johnson to like make Last Jedi not canon. That doesn't make sense. That's nonsense.
What does that...
For them to write it out of continuity. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm just very tired of it. I don't want to give this any more time, but like, it's a very frustrating like movement that we're watching happening that I don't understand.
It's basically anything that is done by fans to try and stifle creativity in general. Like, it's tiresome. It's just, I don't really give a shit, and it's dumb. Like, you're dumb.
Yeah, please stop doing that. Anyways.
I saw this today. This came out today. This Image comic, which is called Birthright. I guess they're gonna make into a movie, which is cool. And I was gonna ask if you heard about Birthright. Do you know what that is?
I have not read it, but it's written by Josh Williamson. I haven't read it. I've heard good things about it.
Williamson? He's the one that's doing Flash, right?
He writes Flash. Yeah. So that's kind of connected. But, yeah, it's like almost like a Conan style thing, but it's like a child disappears from the real world and then it's almost like a Jumanji kind of thing where like, he comes back like years and years later, but like he's like this ruler of this fantasy realm, like a Conan or whatever. Conan, however you say that. Conan O'Brien. He's a ruler of a fantasy realm, just like Conan O'Brien is. But yeah, so I've been curious to read that. If that movie, whenever that movie comes out, if it ends up coming out, if it looks cool, maybe I'll go back and maybe it'll be an excuse to go back and read that series because I have heard good things about it.
Okay, cool. We'll move on to TV news. And I'm glad you put this on here, Doug, because I watched another episode of Happy last night. I did. God damn it. I kept falling asleep because it's just like, I just don't care. And it's just like, I feel so bad that I don't care. I feel so bad, but I'm just watching it. It feels like a job. Like, I have 5 more on there. I'm dreading even thinking about trying to go and through it. Cause it's not like it's like terrible. It's not terrible TV in the slightest. It's just like, there's so many other things that I would rather watch, especially at this point, like Legion, like any FX show that's out right now. Like, there's so many.
You should stop watching Happy and watch Legion.
I know. I think I will. But, it's just, the news here is that they got a second season, and Doug wrote that it kills all his interest to ever continue with the first. Doug, let's follow up on that.
Yeah, so basically all I'm thinking is just like, that show had like my tenuous interest at best after those first 2 episodes. Like, I kept telling myself I was going to go back and watch more of that just to see if it gets better. But like, it's already in stretching it out to 7 episodes or whatever. Like, it's already so far from the subject matter, and not that they can't invent their own stuff. I'm all for like reinventing things when you're moving to different mediums, but like, the stuff they're adding doesn't feel substantial and necessary, and it feels like filler, and like it goes against the kind of the spirit of the original piece. And the idea that they're doing this as an ongoing series as opposed to a mini series, what are you going to do with it? Like, if you are at that point, you're just breaking completely from Morrison and Robertson's story. Like, and the parts of that show that aren't the original like source material stuff, like, is the weakest parts of that show. So absolutely. I have absolutely no interest in continuing to watch that show if it's going to go that far off script, because the stuff that is off script in that show is bad.
Hey, everyone bleeds green.
What?
Everyone bleeds green? Like, everyone knows money, is concerned with money?
Is that a phrase?
I think so. Now you're making me question it.
Oh, Jack, how could you say that phrase that's so weird and different, and I've never heard anything like it, and you're horrible for saying it. Ha 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 ha!
You're worse at mocking people than I am.
I am much bad at mocking people.
Shut up! You're terrible. I'm gonna quit. I'm quitting.
You're quitting? All right, goodbye. Yeah. Here I go doing the next 100 episodes by myself.
No. I get a host still.
Oh.
I'm gonna do it angrily though.
Okay.
In any case, so I'm glad you put this on here because I actually saw this today too, and I put it on my own rundown. We had
competing rundowns.
Competing. Yours won, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
But in any case, DC is like, hey, we can make, creative material. It's pretty cool. So DC is being all like, oh, hey, Gotham's doing pretty well. It actually is doing pretty well in the ratings, even in its fifth season.
Why? I don't understand.
It just is.
I don't understand the appeal of that show. Anyways.
Common fans they like kind of knowing what's going on, but having a new, I don't know. I don't really know. I really don't know. I tried to explain. I can't. But in any case, the story here is that they want to make a show like that based on people in Metropolis. So like Lois Lane and Lex Luthor before they met Superman. What was it like in Metropolis? Which kind of actually, this is going to be a good segue into the next story for the comics as well. So we'll get to that. But in any case, what do you think about this show? Do you have any high hopes? The first season of Gotham I thought was pretty strong, actually. And Metropolis,
I just don't have any interest in watching a show about these side characters where the central conceit of this kind of universe isn't around. Like, I just don't understand. Yes, Lois Lane and Lex Luthor are fascinating characters who, in theory, yes, are totally deserving of their own series, whether it be in TV or in comics or whatever. I would totally read a series that was just about Lex Luthor or Lois Lane if they were good. But the idea that this show would theoretically exist in this weird little bubble where they're just not going to really engage with the existence of Superman kind of breaks the universe in a way and makes the characters far less interesting.
I can understand that. And for a fact that they're going to have at some point in the show young teenager Clark Kent.
Oh, they
doing
definitely are.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, Lois Lane is theoretically, I assume she's not a child. It sounds like she's going to be the central character in this. So she's at least a teenager, if not probably a younger adult. Mm-hmm. Someone in their 20s, I'm guessing. So Clark Kent is theoretically out there, just hasn't moved to Metropolis yet, I guess.
He hasn't moved at all. He's been paralyzed.
He's
forever.
been paralyzed, stuck in a cornfield somewhere
in Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading something recently, and this is a small tangent, but did you know that that Smallville was not originally in Kansas? It was it was like an upstate New York town. Like it was a short train ride away from Metropolis. That would happen in stories. It is very weird. It is very weird.
Why? Why would they just fuck with the universe like that? Because they don't care, I guess so. But.
What do you mean? Why would they move it to Kansas?
No, why would they? It's originally in Kansas, is it not?
No, that's what I'm saying. It was not originally in Kansas.
No. What I mean is the show wasn't originally in Kansas. His origin story is in Kansas, though.
No. Smallville, his origin story is in Smallville, which was not originally in Kansas.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about comics.
In comics. I'm not talking about Smallville, the television show. I'm talking about Smallville in the comics. It is in Kansas now. It has been in Kansas for a long time. But it was not originally in Kansas. They didn't really reference where it was, but it was a short train ride away from Metropolis, which...
So kind of it was supposed to be like a sort of... like every suburb sort of thing?
Sort of, I guess. But then they did also put out like stuff like... I think it was Kurt Busiek on Twitter a while back was in a thread where he was describing this to people and everyone was very confused, and he like put maps that like DC put out showing that like at that time that Smallville was like upstate New York or like south also in some of them from Metropolis, which was weird. Very strange.
I've always known Kansas. That's the only thing I've ever known. That's so strange. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's been that way for like longer than it hasn't, but yeah, very weird.
Good bit of trivia there.
Just a bit of trivia.
Okay, cool. Well, this show, who knows how it'll be? It's going to be on DC's new streaming service, which is the same place that Titans is going to be. Teen Titans live action thing, which we talked about. But, maybe this show will explore Metropolis as a city and give it like the sort of vibe. Like people know Gotham. Very like it feels like a character within itself. There are a lot of different aspects of Gotham that are explored in the comics.
Did I tell you about my breaking point this last month with the phrase a place in a story is almost a character in and of itself?
No.
I can't take that phrase seriously anymore. It doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? Describe describe what that means to me.
What I mean is that it has a force to it that I don't know. Shut up! It's a cool thing to say.
It doesn't mean anything. I just think it's really funny because the use of that phrase has reached a kind of fever point in criticism that I just made me realize it means nothing. But
okay, I'm taking notes for next time I have to mock you. Okay, in any case, but exploring sort of Metropolis as a city, like they've explored Gotham as a city.
Yeah.
That's one thing that Brian Michael Bendis expressed when he was talking about how he is going to take over Superman, among other Action Comics, after a miniseries called Man of Steel. He specifically says, this is our first comics news story, by the way. It was such a good transition, you didn't even know. He says that he wants to explore Metropolis like Gotham has been explored. Go to different corners of it and see, what the culture of Metropolis is compared to everything else. People always say, Gotham is this dark, gritty, crime-ridden place, and we've had so many stories there, but Brian Bendis seems to think that we haven't explored Metropolis in quite the same way. So what do you think, Doug?
I would agree that, like, Metropolis... I definitely have a love for Metropolis as a setting in comics, but like I would agree that like it's not as fleshed out as a fictional city. God damn it, as Gotham is over in Batman's world. But I'm very interested to see Bendis take over. He's taking So you said he's doing a miniseries called Man of Steel, which is going to be after because he's doing that story in Action Comics 1000.
Yeah.
And then he's doing this miniseries Man of Steel, which is a weekly, how many parts? 6-part miniseries, weekly miniseries, that'll be very fun. Get an idea for what Bendis's take on Superman is going to be, and then he's taking over both Superman and Action Comics, which is a thing that doesn't happen very often, where a writer takes over like a pair of books like that.
Also, because wouldn't they not want to have both Superman and Action Comics be the same writer? Because then that's both of their Superman stories in the same creative, sort of style, right? Wouldn't they have Detective Comics and Batman different writers so that they can have like sort of difference in,
So the interesting thing in this, and this is like, I wouldn't even, like, there's definitely plenty of examples of writers doing like dual series like this, like partner kind of series where they kind of are, that's what I'm guessing this is going to be, where they're like kind of two halves of one big story. But he did kind of tease what his take on these pair of books is, and he says, it says here, in a kind of fun, clever twist on these names. So Superman, will be starting over at number 1, and it will be an action-focused title about Superman. Action Comics, which he'll start on issue 1001, will be a more character-oriented focus on Clark's day-to-day at the Daily Planet.
Huh.
So these, I don't know how much these books are going to kind of talk to each other. They might not. But I'm guessing if Bendis is writing both of these, and he has this kind of like thematic kind of like split between the two in that way, they're in some way going to, at the very least, comment on each other, if not be two halves of like the same story. I would guess that they would structure it so that you don't have to read both, but you'd probably get a lot more out of them if you read both, because they're going to be the Superman half of his life and the Clark Kent half of his life. And they're going to probably tie in together in some very interesting thematic ways.
We'll have to read those, because
I'm definitely,
this is going to be a really exciting time.
That sounds, at the very least, fascinating to check out. I'm really interested to see what his take on that is going to be.
I'm really excited because we're going to get like some different series coming up here, I think, on our books, because I think I would like to do both of these. And also on the other side with Marvel's, one of their biggest properties, Iron Man, having a big person take that over. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for that to happen too. So I think that's going to definitely be on there too.
Yeah, this is an exciting time for you as a new comics reader, because like every once, like when you first starting getting into comics, it's very hard to kind of find your footing in the big books, in like the big flagship characters. Yeah. And you end up going to a lot of the weird things, like your Mr. Miracles and your
Doom Patrol.
Like Doom Patrols and like the weird side stuff. Like, whereas like you're not reading Batman or Superman or Captain America, or you are reading Captain America now, but that's part of what I'm talking about, where like over time, slowly, like big exciting people will take at least some of those books over, or big new launching points like jumping on points will come about, and you'll get to at least try Superman, like whether you like Bendis's take on it or not. But DC just in general right now is making some big creative moves that are pretty exciting. Marvel's just kind of trucking along. Like the Dan Slott thing is pretty exciting, I think. For someone who's been interested in his work but hasn't had a good spot to jump onto him in a while in my time reading. But yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so can you also tell me, Brian Michael Bendis also said, or in the article they mentioned his thing called Jinx World that DC also bought and is developing, and it's sort of supposed to be a young animal sort of feel. Have you heard anything about that?
I think those are two separate ideas, what you're conflating here. But I mean, so he is bringing over this thing, Jinx World, which I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if that was actually a thing before now, or if they've just added that title to this. But basically, he's bringing over his book Powers, which I don't know if you're familiar with that. Are you familiar with that book?
Book Power? Jinx World?
The book is called Powers.
Oh, no.
Do you know the PlayStation original series Powers? No, you're not aware of that. PlayStation made it into a TV series that they released on PlayStation Network, and it has what's his name, Sholto Copley as one of the central characters in it. It's very strange and bad. Wow. The book I've heard good things about it. It's kind of the thing that kind of broke Bendis into the industry. But anyway, yeah, that's that book and another book he's bringing over, and then I think he is also heading up an imprint at DC that he is going to be kind of they'll be in a sort of kind of Young Animal kind of corner of the DCU.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be like Young Animal, like thematically necessarily, but like it'll be like they've been kind of weirdly starting a whole bunch of imprints lately, like this. Okay. So it'll be kind of a little kind of place corner for Bendis to go play in that isn't necessarily like the big flagship stuff.
Okay.
That's cool.
And just briefly going into a little bit of cool news, Batman and Catwoman. We've already talked on here about their whole thing. I guess we can just say it. They're having a baby. No, they're getting married on July 4th. We have a date. We have a save the date.
Yep.
So that's fun. Yeah. Any other things? Is there anything exciting going on in that story that we shouldn't spoil? Actually, never mind.
In like currently in Batman right now?
Yeah.
I mean. Spoiler warning. Batman and not Catwoman. Batman and Wonder Woman are trapped in this other dimension where time goes really fast. So it's been like an hour in the real world, and it's been like 100 years for them. And they think that no one is ever going to save them. So the last issue cliffhanger was they were about to kiss, because they've been in there for 100 years and think no one is ever going to get them out.
Oh my God.
It's definitely a fake out, but
Jesus.
But yeah. But
that's crazy.
Sounds like that's not going to. I mean, it's definitely a fake out, but sounds like it's not going to derail the wedding. Although Joker might. It sounds like he doesn't. He apparently is mad. I don't know.
Well, there's this whole thing about making Joker. Isn't Joker gay? Right?
No. You put that in the rundown a week or something ago about some people being mad because Joker isn't gay anymore. Joker is not gay. I would argue that Joker does not have sexuality, but that is also probably a weird side theory that like isn't actually necessarily substantiated by a lot. But nothing. If anything, there is precedent that Joker is definitely heterosexual in having a girlfriend that he makes constant innuendos about. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. That was a thing that we almost talked about a week or two ago. Well,
I wanted to hear about it a little bit more because, I'm trying to learn about the culture, and that's part of it. If people think it's a part of the whole thing.
At times, Joker can be portrayed as somewhat pansexual. But I wouldn't say.
So he likes frying pans and
Yeah, he is sexually attracted to pans.
Saucepans. I said soup
little fawn men, like half man, half goats. He is pansexual in that he is.
They're like the centaurs, like Comet the Superhorse was.
Ah, yes. Or like
fawns are kind of like centaurs, aren't they?
I guess, in that the top half is kind of a person and the bottom half is kind of an animal.
Okay. In any case, I know I said this was going to be brief, and then we talk about fawn men. Sorry. We're going to go on into our current comics. We have music, don't we?
It's happening right now.
Oh. Okay, so the stack this week, it was pretty large, actually. We both picked up Avengers number 678, even though Doug didn't read it. Dark Knight's Metal 5.
Jesus, we're
Flash
recording
Annual,
on Thursday.
Flash Annual number 1. Justice League of America Doom Patrol Special. Can't we just call it Milk Wars number 1?
I mean, that's not technically... It is Milk Wars Part 1, but the title of the book is Justice League of America Doom Patrol Special number 1. And I refuse to call it anything else, and I will use it in every sentence.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, sorry. And then Doug also picked up the Detective Comics Annual.
I picked up the Detective Comics Animal. It's a fawn.
It's a fawn man.
A fawn man.
Just like Clayman.
You don't have to say man.
Number 1.
Yeah.
So we're going to do our little spoiler warning. Doug, why don't you do it this time? Good job.
Yep.
That's a tough thing to do. So I'm gonna go first. My Jack's pick of the week is the Milk Wars number 1.
JLA Doom Patrol Special number 1.
Yeah. This. Okay. I just want to say that, I read it the first time, and it was kind of like halfway through and till the end is when I was like really like, holy shit, this is amazing shit. But then I had a second read through and I realized, oh no, this whole thing is just wonderful. It's just so wonderful. Like,
so can you give a brief setup of basically what this book is?
Brief setup. Let's, so this book, and if you've been reading Doom Patrol, we just talked about Doom Patrol in the last thing. This kind of picks up directly after Doom Patrol.
I have a question about that, but move
I
on.
do also have a question about it.
Continue.
But it seemingly picks up right after Doom Patrol. We'll talk about your question, because I think it's the same as mine.
Yeah.
It's slightly different. But in any case, the Doom Patrol crashes into this seemingly very perfect reality where, people are having milk shoved down their throats by a milkman. So basically, the idea behind this is that the company, Retcon, is trying to sell real estate, but kind of creative properties as real estate. And they're trying to make all this real estate marketable and easily attainable by the general public. So they are trying to homogenize it with milk and to make everyone very, peaceful and leave it to beaver by shoving milk down their throats and making sure they're in line. Everyone has milk and is hypnotized by the milk, along with the Justice League of America, who shows up in the middle as the Neighborhood Watch, as the, community... Oh, what is it? They have the full reveal of their name.
The Community League of Rhode Island, I think.
Yeah, the Community League of Rhode Island. And I'm going to take a little bit, the Justice League, this Community League of Rhode Island includes Milkman Man, Killer Frost, I know. I don't know the African-American girl. I know Black Canary. I know the Atom. And I don't know the Flame guy. Is that Firestorm?
No. The African-American woman in the front there is Vixen. Vixen. She has basically the same powers as like Animal Man. She has the powers of any animal. Although she doesn't have to be around animals to have their powers. She just has them.
Shit.
That's why you see these panels where she's got the weird ghost images of animals. That's
looks like she's an orange lantern.
Those aren't actually there. That's just whenever she uses her powers, that's how people show what animal she's channeling.
She's punching him with the power of a rhinoceros.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that probably makes that a lot easier to understand. But and then the flaming guy there is the Ray. He is he has the powers of light. He can kind of create light constructs. So he actually is kind of like a Green Lantern, a little bit.
Doug, we were just talking about not assuming people's sexuality. You don't have to call him the Flaming Man. Jesus
and that
Christ.
actually was a little bit of a blunder because he is actually gay. But not what I intended when I said that. He is actually on fire in the pan. Actually on fire in the panel. But Anyway, so this book is part one of an event, or as they call it, an un-event for some reason. I don't really understand why. But
it's involving retcon. They're trying to retcon's retcon.
But Milk Wars, which is a crossover between DC's imprint Young Animal and the mainstream DCU. So this is the Justice League of America, which I didn't realize until like this last week that it was not the normal Justice League book. It's this side book, Justice League of America, which has a different team.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, I was going to ask if you remembered that, because I feel like I did tell you that at some point, but that was a while ago.
No, I remember that wasn't going to be like Superman, Batman, or anything. Okay. I knew it was going to be like...
Yeah, I forgot that that's what this book was going to be. But yeah, so...
But yeah, this is kind of... I remember you talking about Doomsday Clock, because I want to talk about Doomsday Clock in opposition to this, because while this book is about, a outward force making the world more... nice and Leave It to Beaver, you were talking about how Doomsday Clock is kind of them searching for this force that's making it worse, right?
I mean, this is also making this worse, but I mean...
Darker is what I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see how tonally you could see a difference there. I think there's... there is actually a lot in common between them in that way, although I think their kind of ultimate thematic goal is somewhat different.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But in any case, this is just off the wall crazy absolutely the entire time through. But it is so it toes the line so that you know what's going on, and they build a great story within it that oh my god, beautifully ends, beautifully comes together at the end. Just so well, especially if you read Doom Patrol. You gotta read Doom Patrol before you read this. You have to.
Otherwise, you would have absolutely no idea what's happening in this book if you aren't reading Doom Patrol. Or
zero.
Yeah.
At least they wouldn't be used to the insanity that is going on.
I mean, granted, probably no one who isn't reading Doom Patrol is reading this book. I would be very surprised, but yeah, they do some. I did not expect them to make the kind of big character moments character changing moments that they did in this book with the Doom Patrol characters. I was expecting this to be kind of like a fun little side adventure of theirs that wasn't necessarily going to impact their normal book, but they change some characters' kind of circumstances in one specifically in a very specific way. I guess
we can spoil spoilers.
Yeah, we did a spoiler warning. So I mean, there's this character Milkman Man who has been created by retcon as basically an analog of Superman because they're trying to kind of homogenize, to use Milk terms, the characters on Earth Prime, which is the main DC Earth. And they couldn't do that to Superman for some reason. And so they created a fake Superman, basically, in this character of Milkman Man. And over the course of the issue, we find out that Milkman Man is one of the main characters of Doom Patrol's son.
That they just gave birth to last issue.
That was literally given birth to in the issue of Doom Patrol before this, where Terry Nunn gave birth to seemingly nothing. And that's a point in this, that they formed that nothing into Milkman Man.
Milkman Man.
Into basically a
because they were trying to create they talk about how from the god of superheroes, all these different ideas came back. I love
that idea. That's actually something that I've lately, weirdly, before this book, been fascinated with the idea of what are gods to superheroes, and I love the idea of the god of superheroes.
Well, sort of exploring the apocalypse aspect of X-Men, right?
Kind of, but it's more
more mystical, more religious sort of thing.
Yeah, it's if human beings believe that they're created in a god's image, is in a world in which superheroes like this are a reality. Like, do superheroes have a religion that they think they're based on? You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not normally a thing in comics, but it's just something that an idea that I find fascinating. And they play with that in this book specifically, in that there is literally a god of the god of superheroes, from which all superheroes kind of spring, which is fascinating. But
yes, and it's just the whole issue. I highly recommend us all. Like, I also want to know who is Lord Manga Khan.
I have no idea. I have no idea who that is.
I was thinking, is that the Disappointment?
What now? Oh, you mean from the old? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because I was thinking, like, maybe he was withheld due to copyright because he was a part of this book. And he was wearing a cape like this, wasn't he?
Wait, are you talking about that's the character from Doom Patrol right now, right? The withheld due to copyright? I don't think so. They set up that was a character called, before he was censored, he was called Haxalon the Star Archer.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So I don't think that's who this is, but I do see what you're talking about. I'm trying to look.
Like, I'm just going off the cape, I guess, and the whole like thing. But he has like a weird helmet thing in the other thing too. So never mind. But in any case, this guy's name is. So Lord.
I have looked up Lord Manga Khan, and apparently Lord Manga Khan is an existing character in the DCU.
Okay. I wonder if they used him because his name is Manga.
I don't know. He's apparently an intergalactic trader with a penchant for melodrama.
Okay. Apparently doesn't want that much melodrama here. I guess he wants safe melodrama in the Happy Harbor, Rhode Island. But in any case, this is just amazing, wacko. What was your question about its relation to the last story?
I don't think that this is taking place directly after the last issue.
Because they did end up in the building, the retcon building.
They specifically already revealed where they ended up, which was at retcon. And then in this, they are coming back, and they talk about having been at retcon, and they talk about events that I don't think have happened. Like, they talk about this is where the bomb that retcon.
Oh, retcon sent their rocket. Yeah,
sent their rocket. I think that this is a really, really weird scenario in which the delays that Doom Patrol has suffered, the extreme delays that Doom Patrol has suffered, has actually caused it to this series to basically pass where this is supposed to take place in Doom Patrol continuity.
Huh.
So basically, I'm pretty sure what happened is this series stayed on schedule, that book kept getting delayed, and it is now at a point at which the delays are such that this book would have had to also be delayed like months and months and months, and they have all these other tie-in books and stuff that are taking place in the continuity of other books. Yeah. So they had to be like, all right, well, we're either going to sacrifice this being fucking up Doom Patrol's continuity, or it's going to fuck up the continuity of all these other Young Animal and normal DC books. So we might as well just do this one. I think this is literally picking up where the end of the current Doom Patrol arc will end, which is very confusing and frustrating. But
okay, I mean, whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
You get it. I don't think I had to do too many mental hurdles. Like, I got it, but I also feel kind of frustrated in that, I know, you can usually assume this in superhero comics, but I know, nobody's in peril in Doom Patrol now. Everybody's fine. You know? I mean...
No, I know.
You know? I don't know. But, whatever. But this was really great.
And I got to see Lobo, too. I forgot to say him. He's here in the Justice League part. So,
and we don't know where Batman is, but I guess Batman is going to be in one of the next few, specials, speaking of which...
Father Batman, right?
Yeah, Father Batman, which is so great. He's got a reverend collar. But speaking of those tie-ins, what is your stance? I've been waffling back and forth on this.
I want to.
I'm thinking I might not.
Really?
Because I don't think I'm going to understand who any of the other characters are. I don't know. Maybe I will. I'm not sure.
Do you think they'll use this as a jumping on point, though, and explain as much as you need?
I guess, like, theoretically, but, like, also, I don't think this book set up the Doom Patrol. You know? I feel like if you weren't reading Doom Patrol, you'd be very confused what in the hell was happening in this book.
Yeah.
You know, like,
but you also know that the next week is going to be Doom Patrol as well.
You mean the following week?
Wait. Yeah, for Milk Wars.
Well, it's this one, and then there's 3 other specials, and then a Doom Patrol thing. I don't know if they're every week, but I don't entirely remember how they're doling them out. But I know that is part 4 or part 5, I guess.
Doesn't it look like the Doom Patrol's going on with them, though?
It is. But also, I sent you a thing the other day that says that it sounds like all of these issues are going to be taking place concurrently.
Oh.
So see at the end here, Cave Carson shows up and he's like, I met up with Swamp Thing and we did this shit and now we all gotta meet up. So basically in the Cave Carson Swamp Thing book, what he's talking about is going to happen. And then at the end they're going to be like, we need to meet up, we need to find other people to help us. And then finally and that's gonna happen in all the other books where they're all going to encounter this, like, come to the conclusion they need to help. And then in the next Justice League of America Doom Patrol special, the last book of this crossover, they're all going to come together and there'll be a big finale. Okay. Which makes me wonder if I need to read the other books to understand the timeline of this at all. But also, if I don't, will I be very confused about what their character's involvement is when I read that final issue? Because I am going to read that at the very least.
Here, I'll do it. And then I'll act as your sort of your guide through.
I might still read them. I'm undecided, but anyway, I just wanted to gauge that.
Okay, for sure. But in any case, this was awesome. Really strong start to this storyline. Really awesome storyline in general. But yeah, let's go on. We also have this other one. Doug, what's your pick? Even though I know
the book I was most interested to talk about this week, I think, if it wasn't going to be Milk Wars, was The Flash Annual #1, which is a prelude to this summer's upcoming event, Flash War, which will bring together kind of all the various Flashes, Barry Allen, Wally West, and Kid Flash, Wally West. And I am normally reading this series, The Flash by Josh Williamson, and I talked Jack into picking this up because he expressed vague interest in maybe checking out Flash War, and I was like, well, this is a lead into it, and also, like, if you're interested in reading The Flash, like, this might be a good spot to kind of get your feet wet.
I think it was. They explained a lot, and they explained a lot of their relationships to characters when they came up, especially with, spoilers, Magenta, which was awesome. I loved that sort of idea of her remembering and then immediately freaking the fuck out on him. Like, I really liked it, and playing the relationship between the three, the Kid Flash, the Flash, and I guess this guy who must be a Flash from a different time or a different dimension.
Do you remember in DC Universe Rebirth when Wally West came back? That was a thing that happened in DC Universe Rebirth.
I think I remember that, but so it was this Wally West that was also Flash. He's not the Kid Flash Wally West.
Okay, so this is a little bit confusing, and I feel like I may have explained it when DC Universe Rebirth came out. But basically, Barry Allen is not the original Flash, but he's, for all intents and purposes, the original version. He's the original Flash of the version of Flash that we know. There was a Flash before him that inspired him, but he's more or less the original Flash. But he had his nephew, Wally West, who is this character who's been missing, this white guy with red hair, as his Kid Flash.
Okay.
Then Wally West died. Or sorry, Barry Allen died. Wally West became Flash.
Okay.
Then Wally West... And then Barry Allen came back I don't entirely recall what happened to Wally West.
Wally West is Iris West's son?
Wally West is Iris West's nephew.
Oh.
He's not Barry Allen's nephew, but he is Iris West, who is Barry Allen's girlfriend and or wife, her nephew. Anyway, yes, West and West. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. But anyway, so he becomes Flash, then Barry Allen comes back and becomes Flash again.
Okay.
Then the New 52 happened, and Wally West disappeared. Wally West was not a part of the continuity. Barry Allen was always Flash.
Okay, red-haired Wally West.
Yes. And he's gone. He's not a part of continuity anymore. Okay. Then they introduce Wally West in the form of this young black boy, which is great and fine and wonderful, and they want to diversify their characters and their line. There was a really terrible bit of backlash back then because people have problems with change and can't really reconcile that with their subconscious tendencies. But anyways, not gonna spend too much time on that. But anyways, he's a perfectly wonderful character who recently became Kid Flash. But anyways, the reason they brought original Wally West back is because they basically erased the idea that Wally West was ever Flash by reintroducing this new Flash.
They wanted to explore what that means in the continuity.
It was just Wally West is a lot of people, mine included, their favorite Flash. And the idea that this new Wally West was never Flash was kind of frustrating, and it didn't feel like the same character because he didn't have any of that history. He was never Flash. He's just, I don't want to read a new story about young Wally West again. I want to read the Wally West who was Flash,
Yeah.
I would have been fine if they would have just retconned his history into this new Wally West. Like, that would have worked too. I think that would have been probably quite a bit simpler than the solution they went with. But they ended up bringing back pre New 52 Wally West. And he is technically not part of this continuity, so nobody remembers him, which is how the story in this, with his kind of sub-story in this, happens with Magenta, who is a person from his past who doesn't remember him and then does, and it makes her very angry because she does not want to remember.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, and did people like his Flash, Wally West's Flash, because he was more fleshed out as a character? He was more interesting, or what? What was different about him?
I mean, I don't know that I would say that Wally West is necessarily like a better character or something, but like Wally West had a very long run as the Flash in the 90s when a lot of people were growing up. He was the Flash on the Justice League cartoon. He's a more fun, lighthearted, like jokey character, whereas Barry is a little bit more self-serious, like about like responsibility and stuff.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, his mom died, right?
Who, Barry Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry Allen's mother was murdered and his father was framed for it, basically.
Ah, shit. I mean, understandable, I guess, right?
Yeah. Very understandable. That happens. Anyway, this I think this was an interesting thing to jump on to the Flash with. I think it does set up quite a bit. They, even at the parts that are very continuity heavy in terms of what's happening in the regular Flash book, like I feel like they do a pretty good job of just kind of subtly or not so subtly, at least just kind of giving you the lowdown in conversation of what's happening.
What's going on? I didn't really notice me being absolutely confused. Like,
no, I think they did do a very. I'm selling them short. They did do a very good job of working all of the current events kind of in a semi-organic way into the course of this story. So that you can kind of catch up and understand what's happening for the most part.
I like the intro and the 25th century, because I know the 25th century is where the Ichabod Crane guy is from, right?
The what?
The Ichabod Crane. Eobard
Thawne?
Eobard Thawne.
Ichabod Crane.
It's Ichabod Crane. That's what I think about all the time. Think of Eobard Thawne, Ichabod Crane.
Okay, sure, I could see it.
I said that on a previous episode, and you gave me crap for it or something. I was trying to think of his name, but I couldn't think of it.
Ichabod Crane. I just like thinking of him as Ichabod Crane now.
Well, I mean, yeah, Sleepy Hollow remade with Reverse Flash as that guy. That'd be
he
awesome.
Just murders the Headless Horseman. It just like snaps his neck in a split second.
Sleepy Flash.
Wait, he doesn't have a neck. Oh God, It's the one thing Reverse Flash can't beat. He doesn't have a neck to snap.
Oh, does he snap necks?
I don't know. He murders people.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that Howard Porter didn't do the art in the whole issue. He did the art in these in the kind of wraparound story in the 20th century, and I thought he was going to do the art in the whole issue, and I was kind of disappointed that he didn't.
They probably just wanted to give a definitive look for the difference of things. I noticed a specific difference. I liked the art a lot in the 25th century ones. Yeah. And I mean, it's not that it's bad in the other ones, it just looks more
fine.
like
it's fine.
It looks, yeah, exactly. It
looks like a superhero book. It's serviceable. There are some panels that look pretty stiff, but anyway,
and then this flash or this what is it? This reveal at the end. I do not know. You should have put his name on the guess a character thing, because I do not know who Zoom is.
I'm actually a little confused by that as well. I don't really have much. I have experience with Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne.
Looks like he's a Flash guy, though. He has the lightning bolt.
He is basically another Reverse Flash. He is a character named Hunter Zolomon, as you can see in the background of this last panel. I know he is another character who is also who is kind of the Reverse Flash, but also goes by a different name. I'm not entirely sure what the lineage or when that change is. I don't know, like, why he's basically Reverse Flash, but is a different name. I think at some point, basically...
It's reverse Flash, Doug. It's Flash!
So I think the deal is that this was a character who became... So there was a character at some point who was Reverse Flash, whose name was Professor Zoom.
Okay.
This character basically became Reverse Flash. He's wearing the Reverse Flash costume, but... in, I think, an attempt to get rid of the Reverse Flash name, because it is silly, they had that character who basically killed Professor Zoom, called himself Zoom when he took his mantle.
Okay.
Which is odd. But, oh wait, I guess Eobard Thawne is Professor Zoom? I don't know.
I don't know at all.
The Reverse Flash stuff really confuses me sometimes in their naming conventions and who's who. But anyways, this is basically a different Reverse Flash.
Okay.
Whose name is Hunter Zolomon or Zoom.
Okay. And then the other people I don't know are the renegades on the case. I know who Captain Cold is, or Commander Cold.
So normally this is a group called the Rogues. And these names are like variations on their normal names because they're apparently government agents of this group. Who are they? This group is called the Temporal Courts. So they're like time traveling government agents, it sounds like, but they are classic Flash villains. This group,
all of them,
not necessarily every one of them specifically. I mean, this group all has been for a while. But Mirror Master, Captain Cold, Heat Wave, Golden Glider, and Weather Wizard.
It looks like they changed their names.
They did, because they're, I guess, renamed because they're these government agents. They all have kind of like weird, like more militaristic looking versions of their costumes.
And Heatstroke isn't just perpetually suffering from heat strokes, right?
Oh, he is. No, I have no idea.
Oh, well, but Mirror Monarch is very narcissistic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mirror Master's great. Mirror Master has a great story in Grant Morrison's Animal Man.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited. I think I'll definitely pick this up. I like the Flash. I like everything they're exploring here.
You mean you'll pick up when Flash War starts, or you'll pick up the next issue of Flash?
Oh, does not start yet?
I think it says when I don't remember. I feel like it's a while.
Okay,
a few months. I feel like it's a few months at least.
Out in May.
Yeah, it continued in Flash War Part 1 out in May.
I'll start at Flash War.
Sure.
Okay, cool. And one last thing, no spoilers or anything. But yeah, no, I like the Flash book. I'm gonna pick up Flash War, and yeah, cool.
Cool.
So I read Moon Knight. You didn't read Moon Knight?
I did not. I thought we were just going. We're running a little bit longer than we wanted to, but
no, I know we're going to stop. I just want to ask you. I was not impressed with this issue. I guess I'll wait for your word on what you think of it, but I am ready to drop this title.
After the last, that's disappointing. After the last issue, I was giving it one more issue to see if I wanted to keep reading it.
It just doesn't do that much at all.
I'm going to read it to finalize my thoughts on it, but I was not impressed by the last issue, and if this issue is not better, then I'm going to drop it. So that's disappointing. I like Moon Knight a lot. Hopefully, they get someone better on there. But
too bad.
Yeah.
But next week we have Justice League number 38, the Swamp Thing Winter Special. Well, finally, after their delay.
It was delayed a week. Yeah.
We're going to have Avengers number 679. Damn it, Doug. You need to read 678.
I know. I've been very
Everyone knows that's listening the thing that happens, and it's so great.
Here, I'm gonna take my headphones off. Tell them what happened, Jack. Here. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God. The Visions thing. I just can't even. Oh, it's great. Spoilers again for Avengers. Vision saying, "Oh, Wanda, who is that?" And then getting frozen again. Oh my God, it's great! I'm so excited. Oh God. Okay, I gotta tell Doug to come back now. Doug, come back.
Okay. I managed to hear that without hearing any of the spoilers, but I did hear you yell very emphatically about something that sounded crazy. But
good. Cool.
Yeah. Also coming out, I don't know. I included this. I don't know if this is a thing we're going to pick up or not, or if I'm going to pick it up or not. But there's one of the lead-in issues to the new Infinity event, which is Infinity Countdown Adam Warlock #1.
I mean, I would like to see a little bit more about Adam Warlock. You can tell me about him a little bit more, maybe, if I get that.
I mean, the best way to learn about Adam Warlock is to read Infinity Gauntlet. But I'm curious to see where Adam Warlock is at these days, because I haven't seen Adam Warlock in quite some time. So I might pick it up. I might not. It depends on where I'm at with the number of books I have next week. But yeah, I'm curious at least.
Cool. Awesome. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it. Well, I know this was a little bit shorter than usual. God.
Technically, a little bit, tiny bit.
A little bit shorter than usual. It was about 7 minutes shorter than what we usually. It was much shorter than last week. Last
week we went over 2 hours.
In any case, we're still new. We're still, coming out of the womb a little bit. So, the absolute biggest thing you can do for us is, lube that womb up with some oxytocin by giving us a review.
What?
Or start.
Your most upsetting way to ask people for reviews. Please continue with your horrible crime.
Lube the womb. It's going to be the name of the episode.
Oh, God.
I'm doing it. We got to do it. Come on. I made a promise to the people. In any case, lube the womb. Give us a review or star rating on iTunes. And please, it's pretty easy. This new thing. It's fun. And if you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us. If you didn't enjoy what you heard, let us know about that. And in person or on social media, I guess you don't let us know in person unless you want to find where we live.
I really would rather they didn't.
Okay, don't do that then. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back next week. Or you can just subscribe to the podcast feed and never think about it. Don't do it.
We are barreling towards you, getting us swatted or something. Oh, boy.
It's like lube the womb.
You can subscribe to this show on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Google Play Music, whatever podcast app you prefer. We've got you covered. Don't say it at the same time as me. In the meantime, before...
Actually, because of the delay, it'll sound like I said it before you.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, before the next episode, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @comicscovered. You can also find archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com. That is LIBSYN.com. And on our YouTube channel, I'm going to get rid of this Facebook thing because we have been doing that for a while. We also put video archives of our shows on Facebook. Yes. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, you've got something you want to ask us about that maybe we'll talk about on the show, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter, or an email at comicscovered@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. So, cool. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks again for listening. I'm Doug.
I'm Covered, and this has been Comics Jack.
I'm gonna eat this table. I'm a hungry lad.
You're a matter eater lad.
No, I'm off-brand. I'm mass consumer boy.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Cheerio.